I wanted to talk today about, well, I guess in the end what I really want to talk about is, I think what one can call intolerant tolerance. Intolerant tolerance. I want to speak about tolerance as it's sort of discussed today in the United States, what that means for Muslims, but also I think what it means for other religious groups in this country as well. And in my experience, on the topic that I'm going to speak about, many religious groups in the United States have the same feelings as I would hope Muslims do. And I started thinking about it when I was watching Egyptian television, and anyone who's been paying attention to the events in Egypt for the last year and a half, there's just always outrageous stuff happening on Egyptian television. And this was a show in which a presenter was talking to, I don't know, a panel of people, and one of them was a Coptic priest, a Coptic Egyptian Christian priest. And the priest started complaining about how certain sheikhs in Egypt, especially Salafi sheikhs, were teaching their students, not to love Christians, their fellow Egyptian citizens who were Christians, and that they were teaching their students that Christians are kuffar. So kuffar in Arabic means, in the Quran means unbelievers, people who reject Islam. Now, interestingly, the sheikh who was in question called into the show and basically confronted the priest, and he said, first of all, yes, I think Christians are unbelievers because anybody who reads the Quran will see the Quran says over and over again that people who reject the prophecy of Muhammad and people who say, in addition to that God is one of three or God is a son, these are all unacceptable positions for Muslims, and this makes you a kafir. This makes you someone who denies the prophecy of Muhammad and the message of Islam. And the sheikh continued, yes, I believe that Muslims should not love Christians because the Quran says, don't take people, the unbelievers, or people of the book, as awliya, as friends or partners, as opposed to the Muslims, as opposed to the believers. And the sheikh continued, I don't see why you're so concerned about this, because this doesn't mean that I'm going to hurt you, or that I'm not going to protect your property, or that I'm not going to protect your life, or that I'm not going to buy things from you, or sell things to you, or rent my home to you, or be polite to you when I see you in the street, or shake your hand, or help you when you're injured. These things have nothing to do with my view about your status in the afterlife, or the correctness of the religion you follow. So why are you so concerned, the sheikh added. And it was very interesting for me to watch as other people called into the channel and were saying, I can't believe that this awful sheikh is telling people that Christians are kuffar and saying that you shouldn't love your fellow Egyptians who happen to be Christian. This is unacceptable. And people were sort of pulling out their hair and very concerned about what future these Islamist sheikhs or these sort of more conservative Muslims in Egypt, what future were they going to bring to Egypt? So everybody was just agonizing about this. Now, it made me think a lot about how people speak about religion and morality in this country, in the United States. And I just thought about all the times that I had been in a debate with somebody about something about religion or morality or about lifestyle or sexuality. And I say, I don't agree with you about a certain thing, or I think a certain kind of activity is a sin, or I think a certain belief is wrong. But we're in the United States. I acknowledge your legal right to do this. I acknowledge your right to have your own religious beliefs. As a Muslim, I acknowledge that, because Muslims say that the Quran says, to me, my religion, to you, your religion. But I found that in these debates, that's not good enough. That oftentimes people want you to, not just to accept that they have a right to believe something or to do something, but that you actually approve of what they believe or approve of what they do. So you have to believe that their religion is true too, and you have to believe that what they're doing, however much you disagree with it, is actually morally correct. And this has always been very frustrating. And I think it's maybe something that many of us have encountered. By the way, not just Muslims. This is something also that is a big problem for anybody who follows a religious tradition that's transcendent, that has certain rules that can't change, that makes claims about the nature of reality, it makes claims about what you should or shouldn't believe. Anybody who has such a belief is going to sometimes find other people who don't agree with them, and they're going to not think that that other person is correct. And if they are not allowed to do that, well, this is a crisis for people of religion. I remember just one example of this. There was a Seinfeld episode once where Elaine had, I don't know if people still know what Seinfeld is. I have to figure out when this is going to be cut off in terms of references. But Elaine has this boyfriend. Of course, Elaine's a cynical, atheist person, etc. And she has this boyfriend who turns out is a very committed Christian, and he thinks she's going to hell. And she's terribly upset that he thinks she's going to hell. And he says, listen, I don't understand why you're so upset. You don't believe in my religion anyway. Why do you care? But Elaine just couldn't accept that her boyfriend thought she was going to hell. I think this is something that is quite common in interaction between people of faith and people who don't believe in religion in this country. But I was really curious about where does this sort of intolerant tolerance come from? Where does this idea of, people on this Egyptian television show were talking about how important it was to love your fellow man, love your fellow Egyptian, your fellow American. Where does this come from? Where does this language of love come from? So I started trying to look into this. Now, I'll ask you to bear with me. I was told this is a very intellectual audience, so I'm engaging a little bit of intellectual history. And if you start, your eyes start rolling back in your head, then the people who told me that you're really intelligent may be wrong. So don't disappoint me in those who are there.